Good morning, everyone. It's the Sunday share from California, the Academy of Acupuncture. My name is Eileen Yu Han, Doctor of Oriental Medicine. And we are going to have this wonderful Sunday share every weekend, Sunday, 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We invited one of the Balance Method community practitioner to join us to talk about balance method, acupuncture, how we're going to help people, how we're going to support the community. Also, we are introducing those people to you to make sure that you know you're not the only person practicing the balance method, Dr. Tan's balance method out there. You have a family. Please join the community every Sunday. You can hear about how they help the community, help the world, help the people. Not only with the balance method, also along with some herbal remedies and also some food recipes. And today we are very, very honored to invite David Seto, Dr. David Seto, to join us for this interview. The reason I pick him this time because he is our frontline COVID-19 treatment doctor, first frontline team. Whenever there's a patient comes in with cough and fever, he will be the first one at the frontline hospital and to take care of those patients. So let me introduce you who David is. Dr. David Seto utilized the power of the ancient Chinese philosophy of Wu-Wei, action without action or attachment, to unlock the innate healing potential of body, mind, and spirit. In his South Pasadena, California clinic, he integrated osteopath manipulations, acupuncture, and lifestyle counseling to help people unleash their healing potential through synchronizing with nature's spontaneous wisdom. Davy received his bachelor degree from Princeton University, earning his medical doctorate from New Jersey Medical School, and completed his residency in internal medicine at the Weill's Cornell Medical College of Cornell University before move to Beijing, China for 2 years to apprentice with Dr. Wang Ju-Yi, a pioneer of palpation channel diagnosis in Chinese medicine and osteopath manipulation. Thank you for joining us on Sunday to glance inside from the Davis journey through the thousands of hours of advanced clinical training and patient treatments. Let's welcome David Seto, Dr. Seto. Thank you so much for come to our interview. By doing all that, and I also want all of you who is watching us, please let us know that where you from Miami, Netherlands, and from the Corsica, and I see Canada, Colorado from Mark Montoya, and all of you, thank you for coming to join me. Today we have very fun topic that talking about COVID-19. But before that, I like to ask Dr. Seto some questions about how did you get to know Balance Method and Dr. Tan and me.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you for inviting me. It's really an honor to be here. Yeah, I always since college I had this dream to do Chinese medicine and Western medicine, bring it together. And so I heard about Dr. Tan even back in college before this all started. And so he was very famous and very interesting. I didn't get to actually study with him until I first actually bought his books because you know how it is in school. There's no money and there's no time to go anywhere. So you just got to learn things by reading. So I got his books. I was reading his books, very interesting. And then finally, I was very lucky to have the fortune to meet him, actually meet you too, in 2011, so 10 years ago, at the AAMA conference in San Diego. So that's the first conference I went to after I did some acupuncture training. And I specifically went because I saw Dr. Tan was on the program there. And so I went, you know, and he was explaining everything with the Bagua and I Ching and how these common points we use all the time, how they work according to this. It was just really blew my mind, you know, like looking at PC6 and how it treats nausea and atrial fibrillation, all this stuff according to Bagua. I said, wow, this is amazing. And so it really opened my eyes. And at the time, I saw that he had with him two assistants. One of them was his son, Wei Li, and he was kind of looked like he was a little bit shy. And then I saw this other assistant was this lady who was very energetic and agile, moving around and directing traffic around him, being like, okay, we have to go here. Dr. Tom, we have to go here. This person has the question. Ask this person. Okay, now it's time for lunch. No more questions. Time for lunch. We're going this way. I was like, wow, who is this person? You know, she had eyes that flashed like a tiger. And I had my impression. That was my first impression when I ever saw Eileen. This is, I'll show you a little thing if I can share my screen. This is like my impression of that moment when I met Eileen for the first time. Let's see how to play
It's out of our range.
Not for the Sith. This is my apprentice, Darth Maul. He will find your lost ship.
That's what I thought when I saw Eileen. I was like, wow, this person is very impressive. She looks like she can kick some ass.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I like that. That person I'm watching it. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, so I basically and then I was kind of like hanging around, trying to ask him some questions, whatever. You're trying to move them on to lunch and everything like that. And then, you know, I think you started saying like, hey, you know, in Chinese, you're like, Shifu, who's this little punk's trying to follow us right now, you know?
I did say that. 这个家伙 is definitely punk. Yes, I did say that. 这个 punk. And then what happened?
I started talking to you in Chinese, I guess. And then, you know,
He starts speaking Chinese to me and Dr. Tan. He says, well, I would like to join the lunch with you guys in Chinese. And I was like, oh no, he heard me call him a punk. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I got to eat with you, and it was you and Howard Chen and Wei Li, and I remember Jay Sandweiss was there, and we ate together.
Howard, Dr. Chen.
Yeah, Dr. Chen, yeah, Howard. Okay. And I met Howard then. Like Howard, I found out he's from the same town as me. We grew up in the same town. We graduated high school before I even started high school, but I was kind of crazy, yeah. Like a brother from another mother. And then, so yeah, Dr. Tan, I mean, from that lunch, like a lot of things came out of that because I learned about Bazi, right? I never heard of Bazi before, and I was very impressed with this. I was like, wow, you know, what is this thing? And Dr. Tan, I think he looked at my chart and said, that's a Shangguan, very ambitious, you know? And I was like, well, how does he know all this stuff about me? And so from that, you know, I got a lot of things out of just that one conference, actually, because Dr. Tan gave me kind of a foundation for acupuncture and the style that I started doing in my first job, and then ever since then. And then he introduced me, you and him introduced me to Bazi, which I started to study as well. And I also met people, a lot of people, like for example, you, and then Jay. And Jay introduced me to one of my first osteopathic teachers in New York, Hugh Ettlinger. And so from there, a lot of things snowballed, and a lot of kind of like where I've come from since then, I can trace back to that lunchtime meeting with you guys. And I had always, at the time, I was studying, I was planning, like, who am I going to study with? There's a lot of people out there I would love to study with. I figure, okay, let me study with the oldest people first, because they may not be around as long. Yeah. And I looked at you, I was like, look, she looks really young. I looked at Dr. Tan, I said, he looks pretty young too, actually. He's very energetic, you know, he like flies around the world, teaches, he's very funny. I was like, he's probably going to be around for a while. So, you know, a residency, not much vacation time. As soon as residency was over, I went to China, I did my training, and came back. I figured I was going to move to California near San Diego, because my sister's in San Diego, live close by to you guys and take all your classes and intern and all that stuff. But then I found out just a few months before I landed that he passed away. So very unfortunate. Yes. So I never got to take too many classes with him. But, you know, they say in Chinese, you know, I think I was 跟你比较有缘吧. Like I was always keeping in touch with you, chit-chatting, you know, hang out whenever I stop by San Diego to see my sister, and for your birthday and things like that. And so, you know, we kind of
you did took many of my classes too, so yeah. You're not missing anything. I'm sure. Yeah. I'll make sure I'll let you know.
I'll let you know if you missed anything. Yeah. So I, you know, Eileen, I'm very grateful to you. You're kind of like the real, you know, teacher that I've had in this
Thank
system.
You.
You and Dr. Tan, mainly to Dr. Tan's books. I always had his books. I took them to China. I always read them, you know. My very first clinic, when I was in clinic, I had to do community clinic by myself for the first time in my job. I was like, oh my God, you know, and I pulled open 12 and 12 and I started treating patients and it was like amazing, you know? And so, yeah, I really am very grateful to you and Dr. Tan, all you guys in the Balance
Thank
Method
you.
family for everything.
So now you learn all that. How did you put it to work? And now you're working at the hospital for the front line for the COVID patients. So tell us about at the very beginning, how what's happening when patient walks in, or how did you do this? Start.
Yeah, so
Tell us.
I have, yeah, I'm at the hospital. Normally I work in the acupuncture program at this hospital. And so, you know, we treat a lot of patients in community style, so it has to be fast. So they use a lot of balance method and master Dong's points and combine them together. And then I also did for many years, I did primary care, like regular internal medicine there too. And so when I teach medical students and residents, they come through. And then when the pandemic started, they opened this outdoor unit. They try to model after South Korea. They have this outdoor unit. We take care of everybody outside, kind of in these tents, right at the door of the emergency room. So they don't let anybody in the emergency room. They come to this tent instead because they don't want to bring people indoors because they can set out an outbreak inside. So you treat them outside, try to take care of them, try to send them home if you can without them bringing the virus inside the building. And so it's pretty fast. Like patients come through real quick. We're supposed to try to keep a distance from them, don't get too close, and then move them through fast. Don't let them sit for very long, you know. And the waiting area is outside, right outside the tent. So I will use acupuncture, and I usually I'll just use like kind of balance method, master Tung-Style, like a couple points on the hands, you know, because that's the fastest thing we can do. And it's also kind of like sometimes, especially when it's cold outside, that's one of the only areas of the body that's exposed. Like, for example, on Friday, it was raining, it was freezing. Everybody was like shivering. They had like these big coats on and, you know, hats and long pants and boots, rain boots. And the only thing they had was like, this was available. So I'm like, okay, you know, I gotta this is how I go, you know? And then a lot of times people come in with COVID. So yeah, fever, cough, shortness of breath, whatever, you know, and they come in and it just started. And so within the first couple of days, usually. And so I figured, well, you know, if we look at, I mean, a lot of the symptoms, right, are up in this area, right? The headache, the fever, the coughing, the sneezing, the runny nose, you know, and they got the sinus pressure, and they got the sore throat, and fever, and sweating. So, you know, I figure, okay, if we image the body, right, this area is going to be where all the symptoms are, right? That's where the virus goes in, and that's where the virus is going to come out too when you try to purge it through sneezing, through coughing, through runny nose, through watery eyes, you know. And so I figure, okay, we'll treat them up here, right? And then also if it's acute, which it usually is when they're coming in, I figure, you know, it's just imaging the body in terms of time, you know. Within the first day, it's up here, right? Like Weill points, and then it starts moving down, you know, yin spring points, right? Shu stream, right? And it starts going down and eventually gets down to the organs at the Halsey points, right? This is after it's been a while. So if they're coming in early, I can treat them up here. If it's a late thing going on, I have to treat them down here. So that's how I use kind of balance method to figure out what to do. And now just try to do a couple points and see if I can change their pulse and change their symptoms while they get swabbed, while they get tested, you know, because otherwise there's not much we can give them from Western medicine except for like vitamin D, vitamin C, some zinc, you know, but there's not many treatments that we have otherwise.
David, would you like to have us post the case study, talk about a little bit about that case study about your patient that you gave him ketos or something?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, Sean, would you please? Thank you.
Yeah, so, you know, I treat a lot of people like on the hands, and it's fast, you know, something fast. So, because we see like a lot of patients every day coming in, moving through quickly. So this guy was a very interesting case because he's a young guy, 36. He had, you know, sound like the flu, right? He comes in a lot of symptoms, fever, alternating with chills, sweats, having headache, coughing, can't taste. He has no appetite. He feels nauseous. He's having a little bit of diarrhea, not too much, body ache. And he said he's having chest tightness. I said, well, which part of your chest? He said, interesting, it's this over here, the left side of his chest and the rib cage. And he feels it mostly when he's twisting his trunk. And so I said, oh, that's interesting, you know. And so it kind of makes me think of gallbladder Shaoyang, right? And and his very dry tongue, very deep midline crack, some redness, and his wiry pulse. I'm thinking, this seems like kind of like a Shaoyang stage, right? It's just kind of based on the symptom presentation, like the headache and the flank pain and the alternating fever and everything, and then the kind of discomfort down here. So I checked his hand, okay, and then right, Sanjiao 2 is very tender, right? So I figure the best, like I try to use like 2 meridians in the hand to use 2 systems each to attack the
Yeah.
meridian that is having the problem. So I figure if the problem, if we use like a Shanghanlun type of way of rationalizing it, if this Shaoyang gallbladder has the problem, we could use Shaoyang Sanjiao, which has 2 systems that will overlap with the gallbladder, and then Shaoyin heart, which has 2 more systems. So actually, I took this point is from like kind of Macedon's point, San Cha San, and threading from Sanjiao 2 down to heart 9. Okay, so I actually get both meridians, Sanjiao and heart meridian. And so we get 4 systems that we can
Or
use.
8.
Sorry, I'm sorry, heart 8.
Or 8.
Yeah, Sanjiao 2 down to heart 8. And then we get 4 systems that we can use to treat the Shaoyang stage in Shanghanlun. Plus, he seemed like he kind of had some baseline spleen deficiency, so he can also treat spleen. And so I did that, I needled in, and then right away he started feeling this very intense kind of like sensation. He said he felt like nauseous, very nauseous. He felt like sweaty. He felt lightheaded. And I was thinking, I asked him, did you eat anything today? And he said, no, nothing yet. I said, oh God. So I went to the nursing station. All we have is like soda and Skittles and Snickers bars. I mean, it's like, I was around Halloween. So gave him all this candy. I was like, eat this stuff. I took the needle out, you know, and he ate that. And then like, he said, after that, a few minutes later, he said, wow, I feel like pretty much normal right now. And except his taste was still messed up, you know. I guess he couldn't tell which one of the Skittle and which one of the Snickers bar unless he looked at it. And so, yeah, and then so he was better, which is pretty impressive. And then a couple of days later, so we had swabbed him. His test came up positive. A couple of days later, I called him to say, hey, your test is positive. How are you feeling? And he said, I've been feeling fine since that thing you did to my hand. Like, I don't even know what that was. He's like, that was so weird. Like, but then like everything went away after that. And he was better, didn't come back. Except for the loss of taste. That continued on for a while. And then I was reading his notes. He saw his doctor, and then about a month later, the taste got better. So pretty cool, you know.
Did we find out he got a COVID or not?
Yeah, he
Test
got COVID.
positive?
He
Okay.
tested positive. Yeah, and the test, you know, back then the test was taking a little longer, so it'd be a few days. So I called him a few days later, and then when I called him, I can ask him, how are you feeling, you know? And so, yeah, I'm feeling better.
Got it.
So pretty impressive, you know, just using balanced method, 4 systems, 1 point, and can make a big difference for people. So, you know, the type of thing where people are in quarantine and you can't see them, and you have family members who are getting sick and you would love to treat them, but hey, you know, maybe you can just come, ring their doorbell, have them just open their front door crack, stick their hand out, you know, and then you can find some points and treat them, you know, and have them go back inside. That way you don't have to be exposed to the virus. But yeah, if it seems like it's like a Taiyang type stage, I'll use kind of like lung and small intestine, you know, to get 4 ways for Taiyang. If it seems like it's a Shaoyang, I'll use kind of like the Sanjiao and the heart. If it's like seems like it's like a Yangming type stage, I'll use the large intestine and the pericardium, you know. And so each way you have 4 with 2 meridians, you can have 4 ways of getting to the Shanghanlun stage where it seems like they're at.
That's beautiful. So then when you were doing all that, I'm sure that there are many people call you and they cannot come see you. So what did you do with they cannot get herbs, and you know your
Yeah.
patient there, they're more of a local people, they're not
Yeah.
Chinese people, you know.
Yeah, it's a specific
Related.
population we work with. So they're not really into Chinese medicine. They never heard of it, and they don't really have access. A lot of them are kind of older. A lot of them don't have a lot of finances, and they live alone, and so they don't have much really. And unfortunately, the hospital it restricts what we're allowed to give to patients. So herbs are absolutely not allowed. In fact, we can't even recommend herbs to patients. We can't even say, hey, I think you should go take this. No, we get in trouble for that. So we have to get very creative with working with patients, because basically all they have is they come in, you know, you give them medicine from pharmacy, or they go to the supermarket, and that's pretty much it, you know. And then if I'm there, they get acupuncture. You know? But like aside from that, they don't get anything besides pharmacy and supermarket. So sometimes we get creative with what they have at the pharmacy.
Right.
We have this kind of pain cream we use all the time. It's called menthol and salicylate, and so it's got menthol and salicylic acid, and so that's usually for like rubbing on the back or on the shoulder for muscle aches. So I'll tell them, listen, take the pain cream, because it has, you know, basically it has mint, has bohe, right, and it has 柳树皮, right, and these basically clear heat. and they'll release the exterior, and they'll smooth the liver qi stagnation, And so I tell them, rub it over here on the, yin xiang, rub it right over here on 12/20, or 10/20, right? Right, rub it and your sinuses, stomach 1, and they're just like, that helps them to kind of release the exterior and get their symptoms moving. Sometimes we have this cream, like a capsaicin. Basically, it's like chili peppers, so it's like la jiao. And so if it's more of like a cold presentation, I may have them use that to release the exterior, But kind of have to just work with what we have.
You're very creative, young man.
All we have is all we have, So, and then the supermarket. Okay, so I have these patients come in. I would love to give them some, guiji tang, or
Yeah.
but we can't do that. We can't even recommend it. So I will tell them, make some zhou, basically make some rice kanji at home. And so I'll tell them, and then see if you can get somebody to bring this see if you have this in your kitchen, or see if someone can bring it to you from the supermarket, right? If I want to give them like something like, so guiji tang, I would say basically try to find some cinnamon. I know it's real gui, it's not guiji, but like it's like kind of close enough, And then maybe the ginger, they can get some. Oh, you put the recipe up there, yeah. And then they can get, Oh, this is my savory kanji. Yeah, depending on what they like. Some people like salty stuff. Some people like sweet stuff. But okay, so this one is, I'll use this one kind of for people who have very mild symptoms. And I'll eat this myself too. I eat this kind of regularly. So, all the foods that you can think of that you put inside of like a simple kanji, they're actually like, they're all Chinese medicine herbs. In fact, rice is like, I feel like it's like the best kept secret of like all of like Asia and Chinese medicine for thousands of years, but it's in everybody's plain view. Rice is an herb, it tonifies qi, spleen, stomach, right? And so like basically all your postnatal qi is going to be coming from there. And so if you make zhou with rice and you put a lot of water, like 1 cup of rice, 10 cups of water, then it'll expand, it'll suck in a lot of that water. And so a lot of these patients are kind of dehydrated.
Yes.
And so rice sucks up the water, and you cook it for like 2 hours. So it's sucking up. And when you eat it, then that rice can push it back into your body, And so they can absorb the water a lot better. And they need the water because it's dehydrated. And so, some black beans, basically a lot of them kind of, they're a little older, so they maybe have kind of like some kidney deficiency. So some black beans to help them to strengthen the kidneys and helps to clear some of the heat toxins too. The ginger kind of warms the inside, especially the lungs and the rest of the meridians, and expels the cold and dampness. And then some mushrooms you can get from the supermarket, again, tonify qi and blood, kind of like treat the phlegm, transform the phlegm. Some seaweed to tonify the yin. But the real main thing is the scallions, which will release the exterior, help them sweat, kind of disperse the cold, unblock the yang and the wei qi at the exterior. And then so if they can get some of this like chili fermented bean paste, again, release the exterior, make them sweat a little bit, treat the middle jiao. And so basically what that is taking the scallions and the fermented beans is Congshi Tang from the Zhou Hou Bei Ji Fang by Ge Hong. And it's like, old, I think it was like Jin Dynasty formula, but, they have this unblocking the yang, the wei qi at the exterior, make them sweat a little bit. And then you kind of get this rice and this water to tonify the upright qi and push things out from the inside. I kind of look at these formulas as like, they have something that's doing like some magic at the surface, but then there's this engine inside that's also working. Like, for example, you look at the guiji tang and a lot of the Shanghanlun forms, they have this, Shengjiang Da Zao, Zhigan Cao, right? Always there, right? They always have that.
Just a second. Xiang, can you put the guiji tang formula on it, please? Thank you for the guiji tang recipe, please.
Yeah.
The full recipe. When you have a time, okay? Go ahead. Yes, it's Senjiang Da Zao.
Yeah, so the ginger, the red dates, and then the licorice, right? It's always in there. It's like the engine, like inside the car, like driving the car forward, right? And then you have, okay, guiji and baishao, right? So you have like whatever you want to put in there to do the work. But like the workhorse is that engine on the inside. So, if people have trouble finding that, I feel like the rice and the water itself can be like a good engine to power the upright qi, generate things from the inside out, and help push things out. Even in the Shanghanlun, they say after you take the guiji tang, you have to take some zhou right afterwards, right? And then sweat, right? So I'll say, okay, just mash it all together, right? One pot, they're sick. He's sick, he lives alone, right? Oh, come on, he doesn't want to like do all these things at once. So just one pot, cook it all, 2 hours, drink it, and then cover under the blankets, maybe turn your hair dryer on and make yourself sweat, I mean, if in the Han Dynasty, if they had hair dryers, I bet you that Zhang Zhongxing would have written about hair dryers in his Shanghan Lun. You know, it would be every formula.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah, and so yeah, I have kind of like a sweet, it's so sweet, kind of a little more sweet flavor. But like if they have if they're, you know, it seems like it's a Taiyang stage illness, right? And
Yes.
they have the ability to have someone go to the supermarket for them, get some stuff, you know, then I can recommend this. So basically, you know, if I wanted to, I really would just love to give them Guiji Tang, but I can't because I can't say those three words together
Yeah.
in the hospital. So not that they'll understand what I'm saying, but yeah. So I'll have to just come up with something else that I can give them that's similar. So, you know, they can probably find some cinnamon. It's not quite right, you know, real guai, so guai is close enough. They can find ginger probably. Maybe they can find some dates. Maybe they can find some licorice. But the bai shao is a big problem. It's like, how do you find that? There's no supermarket carries that around here. You know, if you go to Ralph's, you're not going to have that peony root basically available there. So I say, okay, well, what can they use? You know, so it has to be something easy to get, very easy to get. I mean, that's probably what Zhang Zhongjing was doing, right? People are like, what do you have in your kitchen, right? What were you cooking for breakfast today? Okay, let's make some soup out of that. Here, take that. That's gonna, whatever you can find from the kitchen. So I say, okay, you know, bai shao is bitter and it's sour, right? And it kind of like will tonify the blood and it strengthens the yin. So, okay, something to pair with the cinnamon. So I'm thinking, okay, some kale stems maybe, that's kind of bitter, right? Some broccoli stem, that's bitter. And then, you know, kale stem is a little too warm, so you add the broccoli, it's a little cooling. And then a little bit of vinegar, that's kind of sour and bitter, right? And you put that together, it's kale and it tonifies blood. Broccoli can help clear heat and transform damp, move the qi. Vinegar is a little bit of astringent, enlivens the blood, dispel the stasis, right? So you put those together with your cinnamon, right? And then you have this kind of ghetto version of Guiji Tang that you can buy in the Ralph supermarket, you know?
Ghetto
Okay.
version of the gui zhi tang. I like that. Very
Ghetto,
good.
yeah, but it works, you know? I mean, so,
And people, well, what if the people already have the COVID, but they are not recovered? They're so slow recovering. So do you have any recipe for that?
yeah, I do.
Like
I
a
do. I
flame in
mean,
the chest.
I had, yeah, it was another case, actually, it was referred from Eileen and Lisa, one of their friends who had come to see me. She had COVID pneumonia, actually. She was 53, COVID pneumonia, and all three of her sons all had COVID pneumonia. All four of them had COVID pneumonia, and she had to take care of three sons, and she was herself sick with pneumonia. She went to the hospital, and they were like, well, you have COVID pneumonia. She's like, well, what are you going to do for me? She's like, well, you just got to go home and get better. You know, so she went home, and then, yeah, I talked to her sister. Her sister was like, look, she's not doing well. She's got pneumonia. She's at home. You know, can you help her? I'm like, sure. If she wants to come in, I'll treat her. But like, you know, will she come in? Is she feeling good enough to come in? And she's like, I don't know. She's really tired. So I was like, look, okay, I don't know if she's going to come in or not, but give her something to take care of her. So, because we're like this right now in the pandemic. A lot of family you would love to treat, but you can't see them, or they live in another city and they're sick with COVID. You can't treat them. Right? I go to this monastery actually down in San Diego, and I help treat some of the monks at the monastery. And it's, I can't go there now, so I got to send them stuff, you know. And so, yeah, so I said, okay, well, if she wants to make an appointment, have her make an appointment, but I'm a little bit booked out. But in the meantime, just today, tell her to start making this. I tell her basically start making some kanji. And so rice, a bunch of water. And then I said, like, what do you have in the house? You know, do you have almonds? Oh, yes, you have almonds. Okay, almonds, put some almonds in there, right? You have like some like orange peels, you know, you could put the orange peel. It's like, you know, not tenpi, it's like jingpi, but hey, it's close enough, right? It's like, you know, we're doing ghetto style, it's okay. And then I was like, you know, anything spicy, you know, like, oh, we use cayenne pepper. I was like, I put a lot of cayenne pepper, right? The spicy aromatic will help to try to, like, you know, if we can get the pathogen out from the lungs back up to the exterior, then we can release it from the exterior. So basically using like almonds and tenpi to like basically treat the lungs, drain the dampness, and then use the rice to tonify her upright qi so she can actually start to push things out. And then then she can use that cayenne pepper, can just finish it off, help her sweat it out. If we can get her, I told her, you know, use the hair dryer, blankets, all that stuff, you know, ancient Chinese wisdom for the modern days. And yeah, so she took that for a while, actually. I think I saw her, maybe it was like a few weeks later, or it was like almost a month later when I finally saw her. And she came in and she said she was feeling actually a lot better with the because she was taking that Joe every day. She's like, it's like comfort food. She's like, I don't know what it's very comforting. You know, you just heat it up, heat up a bowl, because her sister make a huge pot and drop it off. So she would every meal she would heat up a bowl and eat it. You know, I said steaming hot, has to be steaming hot. So she would eat it. And so yeah, she started to get better. And she still has some symptoms. She was very tired. She was working on actually on the election, so very stressful time.
So we got your new name. You're the Chinese medicine Iron Chef.
The ghetto Chinese medicine Iron Chef.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a great name. We should just have a seminar for you to teach all this ghetto recipe for Iron Chef, Chinese medicine Iron Chef. That will be you.
Well, if there's an Iron Chef, that means I'd be a contestant, and you would need you, Eileen, to be the Iron Chef. That you would have to, kick my ass and show me who's boss.
No, you're the boss for this one, okay? I have my cooking channel, but for the seminar chef will be really good, because we're taking a poll now. How many people would like to have the Chinese medicine Iron Chef seminar? And Anna De Lobo say love it. Yes.
Eileen, I saw your seminar in your kitchen. That's a very nice kitchen. Is that your kitchen?
Yes.
It's a very nice kitchen.
It's my 养生法.
Yeah. So
养生法 videos.
You'd have to hold the Iron Chef competition in your kitchen. And then, yeah, we would have to have 2 stoves with social distancing and
Okay. So maybe I should make those Joe for the videos now, since you have to be in the hotel for your job, that you have to be stay alone. So
yeah.
I think I should be cooking in the kitchen just for your recipe.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I mean, it's basically, what do you have at home? What do you have nuts? Do you have almonds? Do you have anything like that at home? Oh yes, I do. Do you have any ginger at home? Yes, I do. Okay, warm mix. So anyway, yeah, and then so she came in and she was still feeling better, but still feeling very tired. They kind of short of breath, with lightheaded with exertion, had this kind of like occipital headache up here.
Okay.
Foggy brain and like dry mouth, and so I checked. It seemed like it was kind of like she had pneumonia, so it already went into Taiyin lungs, and we're trying to extract it back out to Taiyang, and then basically help her sweat it out there. So I treated her with I was using kind of like down here, imaging down here, because it's been a while. It's been over a month and a half, so disease has penetrated. So
it's in the organs now. Yeah.
Organs, yeah. So I did kind of like bladder 39, lung 5, just basically bladder to treat lung to start to draw it out, and then lung to treat bladder to also pull it out once it gets there. And then some spleen, large intestine, basically to also get at the lung from different angles. Same name, channel, right? Pull them out and then pull to Taiyang. And then so pretty quickly she's got better, actually. Within I treat her maybe once a week for 3 or 4 treatments. And by the second or third treatment, she was already feeling better and better. Eventually, I got it to Shaoyang, Taiyang level, and then I gave her Chai Hu Gui Zhi Tang. And then after she started taking that, pretty much she was done. So I only saw her a few times, and then before the election, maybe once or twice I saw her because it was very stressful. And after the election, I saw her once. She said she usually crashes after every kind of major project she's working on. She'll work, and then crash right after it's over. As I said, our goal is to make sure you do not have a crash landing after the election. You have a smooth landing, So yeah. I saw her a week after the election. She was actually doing fine. She was, yeah. And so I said, no crash landing. We're good. All your passengers survived on your plane.
Yes. So I also can recommend using Taiyin Taiyang balance. That is also for the symptom that he was describing. Taiyin Taiyang. So lung, spleen, small intestine, UB. If you still not remember any of this, please go on to my module 1 seminar that you can subscribe. You can order online. It's on-demand courses now that you can take that course only in 3 days. You have 14 days to finish because I have to give you the CEUs. So that will be the place where you're looking for the patterns. If you still don't know what that is, okay? Great. So today is already 11:34. I have more. Dr. Seto have more cases can share. Maybe we can invite him come back the next time for more cases about the COVID, because right now it is really everybody's treating this. And I do love your idea. Just have them stick their hand out and get their acupuncture treatments, and then that will work. And the reason we are all talking about the recipe because the social distancing make us doing the acupuncture a little bit difficult. So for the telemedicine, then you can give them recipe that will enhance your business, your treatment, and your clinic. So please, let's all do that and become a ghetto Chinese medicine herbal practitioner using rice, kanji to help your patients. So let's thank you, Dr. Seto, and for this wonderful Sunday share with us. And definitely we will invite you back for more information about the COVID-19 treatments. And thank you for joining us, everybody from Costa Rica. By the way, Antonio Alfaro, say hi to you because you guys were at the same class 2018 or 19. He want me to say hi to you. And yes, and thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you,
Bye.
Eileen.
Thank you, David.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Dr. Saito.